Nobody's going to be able to buy if you don't show them why they should. Nobody's going to be able to buy if you give up halfway through your launch or after a couple days of selling your offer and think that that's enough. And the thing is, your brain and your emotions, they're going to tell you a different story. You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick. And you guys, I was just in my Telegram chat with one of my one-to-one clients, and we were just celebrating that not only did she sign a client at her highest rate, which was actually an $11,000 sale, amazing, but she is also going to be moving into a new place with her partner. There is so much light in this condo, and she's really excited about being able to record videos and record her podcast. And her excitement as we were talking about this, as we were celebrating this, was so big because it's really easy to get wrapped up in your worthiness around your business and celebrating things that are only related to the business and the sales that you're making. But we celebrated her $11,000 sale just as much as we celebrated her brand new place, And when you celebrate every little thing that is occurring in your life and in your business, even if it's not directly related to sales, like I celebrate every time I finish a fucking sales page. I celebrate every time I finish my podcast scripts or these episodes that I record, right? I go get myself a treat. I just acknowledge or really anchor into the feeling of you're doing it. You're accomplishing things, right? Like this is the magic. And it's so fun to coach people that really want to do this work and really want to do the mindset work and really want to do the mindset work in addition to taking action. It's just like the best thing ever. And it really makes you realize what this work is supposed to feel like. And if your work as a coach or service provider doesn't feel good, if you feel drained by your clients, if you feel like you're taking over responsibility for their results, if you feel a sense of dread when you think about doing your work or showing up online, I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be this way. It absolutely doesn't. It just means that your nervous system is dysregulated as fuck. You need to clean up your messaging and clean up any leaks that are leading to you attracting people that are not the best fit for your work and who do not even want to do the work with you. And chances are, if you're not getting the results that you want, there is some mindset stuff and subconscious work that can always be done so you can really feel like you're the best person for your clients, so you can feel like you have something different to offer them, and so you can call them in confidently. And you can do this in a couple of ways when you come and work with me. One of the ways is my 2-week intensive called Iconic. This is a 2-week intensive starting off with a 90-minute subconscious and strategy session where we not only dive into the subconscious beliefs that are holding you back, but we also dive into your strategy leaks. And then we spend 2 weeks together in Telegram where things are inevitably going to come up, especially from our session. We're going to have so many ahas. There's going to be so many things that we can discuss and work through and work on and clean up in those 2 weeks together. There was somebody that came into 2 days of Telegram coaching with me, and she had client signing literally after the first day. She had people signing up after going through an income dip, after feeling not good enough, after having all these things come up. We cleaned up so many things, and she had clients signing on, and she was like, holy fuck, this has been incredible, right? So if we can do that in 2 days, imagine what we can do in 2 weeks. But if you're not quite ready yet for that one-to-one mentorship, then you need to be inside the From Imposter to Empowered program, which is my group mentorship program where coaches and service providers break through their mindset blocks like imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and not feeling good enough. They learn how to be paid for who they are and really step into their genius and to their most authentic selves online. And they also really step into what makes them different from other people, and this leads them to signing high-ticket clients. So you can join the From Imposter to Empowered program. You can join for 2 weeks for a taster for $397 and see what we're all about inside of there. And then if you decide to join us, you can use that $397 towards your first payment or to pay in full. And when you join, you can join for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, right? So it's completely up to you. There's options for one-to-one personalized support. There's options for the From Imposter to Empowered program. And I just can't wait to coach you. So head to the link in my show notes and you can check out the sales page for the From Imposter to Empowered program, where you can sign up for 3, 6, or 12 months, or sign up for that 2-week taster, or you can sign up for the Iconic Intensive. That link is there as well in the show notes. And if you have any questions at all, I'm an open book. Send me a DM at Your Coach Jill. Now let's dive into today's episode, which I'm so excited about because we're going to talk about that question that is swirling in your mind whenever you think about showing up online and selling your offer. And you think to yourself, what if no one buys? So for seasoned entrepreneurs, for people who have been doing this for years and years, like myself, you know that this is just a thought. And that is how I really want you to treat it. This is just a thought, and it's very normal to have this thought. What if nobody buys this? What if nobody is going to join? I've talked to so many people, I've coached so many people who have wide ranges of success, and there's always that question of like, but what if nobody buys this offer, right? What if I launch and nobody joins? This fear can really come up, especially around like groups and launching a group, and when there is more pressure to perform, like a launch or a short-term intensive. And of course, we know where this comes from. Like as we're growing up, as we're going through school, and even when we start to get into jobs, like for example, I used to work for the government. You guys know this. We tie our validation and our self-worth to our jobs, to our performance, and to how other people think that we're doing. We tie our self-worth to our results, and we try and take all of the data and all of the information that we're seeing and making it mean something about our worth and about what's working. But what people do not tell you about is the nuance of coming into the online space. And that nuance is that if you're not consistent in your strategy, and if you're not consistent in the way that you're thinking about yourself, if you do not learn how to empower yourself and to not tie your self-worth to the results that are happening inside of your business, you won't be consistent in your strategy. You won't continue to see if something works. You'll be impatient, you'll cut things off too early, and that is the nuance that we have to pay attention to. You hear a lot of strategy-driven coaches talk about like, you need to pay attention to the data. Are people dropping into your DMs? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? And to some degree, yes, I think that is important. But you can't analyze the data if there isn't any. And a lot of the time in the beginning, there isn't any data. And a lot of it relies on your own self-belief. A lot of it relies on your ability to be consistent and to keep going, even if you're not seeing the immediate results, and to not tie your worth to the results of your business. Because a lot of the time, a lot of things are unknown. The majority of things are going to be unknown, especially on social media, because we don't know who is lurking. We don't know who is paying attention, and you can't know, right? Like I've had clients who have like written down potential clients on like a sticky note, and I'm like, don't do that, because like, first of all, these are just people that are like looking at your Instagram stories. Like you don't actually know what they're thinking, but it also has you like zeroing in on people that may not be a good fit when there could be hundreds of other people in your sphere, like in your atmosphere, that are a possible client, but you're so zeroed in on these couple of people looking at your Instagram stories, right? You can't know what the opportunities are out there for you. I'm continuously reminded of this every time I sign a new client who's been like, I've been listening to your podcast for months. I've been looking at your content for weeks. I just followed you the other day and I've been watching your stories. I'm in. And I'm not someone that really pays attention to the people that are watching my stories or any of that kind of thing. Because first of all, the version of me that is making the amount of money that I am currently making and that I want to make literally does not have the time or space or the energy to be worrying about who's watching what, right? But there are things that I do pay attention to. I pay attention to the kinds of questions that people are coming into my DMs with, so I can get better at answering those questions in my content and when I sell, or the information that can go on to the sales page, right? I pay attention to the reasons why people are joining my offers, why they're coming to work with me, the questions that they're asking inside of the containers that I have. And again, I use this stuff in my content and when I think about selling. So the truth is, when it comes to the question of what if nobody buys, nobody is going to be able to buy if you don't show them why they should. Nobody's going to be able to buy if you give up halfway through your launch or after a couple days of selling your offer and think that that's enough. And the thing is, your brain and your emotions, they're going to tell you a different story. They're going to tell you if people were interested, they would have reached out already. If they're not reaching out now, that must mean blah, 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 blah. So there's something wrong with your offer or something wrong with you. They don't want to buy from you. They're not going to. And how about you save yourself from the embarrassment, right? Like, why don't we save ourselves from the shame and just stop selling, stop showing up because this obviously isn't working? especially when you struggle with imposter syndrome. Like, these are your thoughts, and your self-image and the way that people are perceiving you is so fucking important to you that you would rather not be seen as incompetent or like business isn't doing well, instead of not giving a fuck and realizing that nobody's thinking these fucking thoughts about you, right? Like, they're thinking about themselves. You are thinking these thoughts about you, and that is enough for you to tell yourself that you shouldn't be continuing to sell or launch or do whatever. You shouldn't be continuing to show up and do all the things that you're doing, right? And it's just your thoughts. Your thoughts are lying to you. It's your imposter syndrome lying to you. It's your need to be seen and perceived a certain way. But the way that you show up in that magnetic energy, the energy that makes people want to buy from you no matter what the fuck you're selling, is to not make your confidence conditional on the results that you're getting. I know. So much easier said than done. But how would you sell your offer? How would you speak? How would you show up if you just knew that people were coming, if they were already in? If you knew that they were seeing your offer and being like, oh, holy shit, how can I figure out what I need to figure out so I can join this offer? When you sell from certainty instead of selling from scarcity, that is when everything changes. When you sell from a place of, I love this offer, I'm confident in this offer, I'm confident in the results that I can get my clients, I'm confident in myself that I'm a person that attracts the people that I want to work with, that feels so much better. Not only when it comes to your strategy, because you think like every word you say is valuable and is going to just draw people in, but it's a lot easier on your nervous system. It just feels lighter because the certainty is already there. You're not looking for external validation. You're not looking for someone to tell you you're good enough, I'm going to join this offer, and then you think to yourself, okay, like I'm relieved, I know that I'm good enough, right? Like, because that's conditional. That's going to go away the second you think I need to sign a new client, right? And that honestly is the difference between somebody that's constantly signing high ticket clients and someone who isn't. Like, they are so certain in themselves. They know the clients are coming. They're so confident in themselves because they know that their work is valuable, and their self-worth and belief in themselves is not conditional on somebody else. It's not like, because I'm getting results, I'm good enough. They know they are so good, and that's why they're getting results. And it's also on you to be regulated, right? I think people are starting to become aware of this. You can have the perfect words, but if you don't have the belief and confidence in yourself, if you don't feel certain, it's going to come across as shaky. It's going to come across as nervous. It's going to come across like you don't know what you're talking about, or that you don't really believe what you're saying. And that honestly comes down to belief and nervous system regulation. Because if you're not regulated, if you're constantly in a state of anxiety and fear, it's going to be felt. And you're also going to be a lot more impatient. You're going to be like, where are the results? Where are the clients? What's happening? Instead of trusting that they're coming and that you're building a personal brand. You're not just building a business, you're also learning how to build trust with your audience. So if they see you selling something and you say, yep, I'm going to be selling this for the next 2 weeks and the doors are going to be open, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden you fucking ghost and they don't hear from you, that is eroding trust. And this is not to shame you. Okay, never to shame, only to wake you up, only to call you forward. It's not that people are paying such close attention that they're going to know the very specific details of your launch. Like, there have been so many times where I've launched something, open doors, and I've said over and over again, this is when the doors are closing, and people will still be like, when are the doors closing? Oh, I didn't know when the launch ended. It's like, are you fucking serious? So again, it's not like people are paying close attention to those actual details, but they will notice if you drop off. They do notice if you ghost. If somebody is interested or intrigued about an offer, sometimes they do sit there until the last second. And if you talk about it and then you stop talking about it, that is going to do more to your reputation than you realize. That's going to erode trust, not only on the side of your audience, but also eroding the trust in yourself. And that's not magnetic energy. The most magnetic people are the ones that are certain and have the belief in themselves without needing external validation and without needing someone to tell them you're good at this. What if nobody buys becomes irrelevant when you're here for the long run? It becomes irrelevant when you're here regardless. It becomes irrelevant when you already have the belief that after I see this through, no matter what happens, I'm just going to be on to the next day, on to the next launch, on to the next offer, on to the next thing that I'm selling. And this is something that deters a lot of people from planning in business. You know, they don't look ahead because they're like, but what if this thing doesn't work out? And that's entrepreneurship, baby, right? Like, how are you going to still keep moving regardless? To be honest, if your potential client could see you questioning yourself right now, like, oh, I don't want to put a 3-month plan into place because I don't know what's going to happen. This is not magnetic, you guys. This is not confident, certain energy that you need to be showing up with. That certainty comes from knowing that you're not fucking going anywhere. That certainty comes from the confidence that your work is here to stay. There are so many people that I have seen come and go in the online space. And I really feel a sense of pride when I know that I'm not one of those people. And this is not to shame anybody. We all have our own path. But there were a lot of people that I have collaborated with or that I had even worked with before. And I could just tell that this was not their be all and end all. And it really was apparent in their energy in terms of the way that they approached business and the way that they approached all the hardships in their business. And this is not sexy. It's not something that I usually use in my forward-facing marketing a ton. But it is something that I address as soon as I see it with a new client. I say, this is giving that you don't actually think it's going to work and that you're going to bounce. It's giving avoidant attachment style, right? Like, it's so interesting actually to notice your attachment style, not only in relationships, but also in your business and the way that it is causing your behavior and the patterns that it is bringing about in how you run your business. And this is, again, absolutely something that I talk about in the very beginning of coaching a client. If I catch even a whiff of it, that they are thinking about this as a short-term thing, as a timeline. What if this doesn't work out? Like, what do you mean? If you're here for the long run, of course it's going to work out. Of course it's going to work out if you put the fucking work in. Your job is to stay visible. Your job is to do the work. Your job is to show people why you are the best choice for them. And if you quit when you don't see the instant results, you're proving to yourself that you don't believe in what you're selling. And we have to take responsibility for the fact that we're charging high ticket services for our work. This is not to say that you aren't worthy of charging these high ticket services, but are you actually acting as someone who is charging high ticket? Are you actually showing up for your business, showing up for the offer and giving it the time and the space it deserves? Because when somebody comes into that offer, it's going to be such a reward and you're going to feel so good about the fact that you did not give up on it. Just like you're not going to give up on your business if you don't get instant results. As easy as it is to slip into what if nobody buys every day you show up, instead see every post, every email, every conversation you're having with somebody as a way that you're building trust with your audience and to take full responsibility for your own magnetism, for the way that you see yourself, how you're showing up with confidence, with certainty in yourself, how you just believe to your core, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know that whether it takes me 3 months, 6 months, or whatever, I'm still going to be here. Even though it never takes that long when you are consistent and stick with it. But if you tell yourself, I'm on a timeline, it's going to be so much harder for you to actually attract clients because you are somebody of integrity. You have a good heart. You're somebody that wants to do good in the world. And you know when you're not operating out of integrity, when you're not truly being the person that you want your potential clients to see, you can feel that. And you can feel that it is out of alignment when you sell. So the easiest thing for you to do is to be in integrity behind the scenes and for you to have the belief in yourself, to create the certainty in yourself, to truly do the work, to do the mindset work, do the subconscious work, to learn how to regulate your nervous system. So when you show up, you are giving that best part of you. It's like having kids, like you want to do the nervous system work so you don't get frustrated with them because you know that that is not the best version of you. And you know what? Sometimes you're not going to be the best version of yourself when it comes to taking care of your kids 24/7. It's a 24/7 job, but you're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be real. And you also know that there are things that you wouldn't do, things that you wouldn't say if you were more regulated, if you had more belief in your capabilities, if you had more certainty in yourself and in the way that you do things. There's so many parallels too between like parenthood and having a business. And the thing is, you're 100% committed to your kids. You're not going anywhere. You're going to be there with them until the wheels fall off. And the same energy needs to be applied to your business. And when that happens, what if nobody buys is so irrelevant. It's so irrelevant because there's just one more thing you need to say. There's just one more day you need to show up. There's just one more thing you need to do and someone is going to come around the corner. And that is one of the beliefs that I step into all the time. Like another client is right around the corner. We talked about that on the podcast this month, how this is one of the core things that I tell myself, like there's another client around the corner. I'm going to sign a client today, even if I don't, because the more I tell myself that, the more I neutralize that, like I'm going to be here forever. I am going to be here and I'm going to build this business and have clients and blah, 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 blah. And this shit stacks and stacks and stacks quicker than you even realize. So when you have this belief in yourself, when you have that certainty, the clients will come. The clients will begin to stack and they will come right around the corner because you know that you're not going anywhere. You know that your work is powerful and it is just your responsibility to show up and be the lighthouse. Be the lighthouse that attracts the people to you and they will inevitably come because you aren't fucking going anywhere. And this energy, this certainty, this confidence, this belief in yourself is exactly what you're going to create when you come and work with me. We're going to build the emotional resilience so you can keep going in your business. You're going to learn how to strategically do the mindset work and the subconscious work so you can break through imposter syndrome and the self-doubt that's keeping you from being so certain in yourself and so confident in your abilities so you can get paid to be who the fuck you are and so you can sign high-ticket clients. And that is exactly the work that we do inside of the From Imposter to Empowered program. Or you can come and work with me in one-to-one coaching or my 2-week one-to-one intensive, Iconic. So come work with me. Let me blow your mind and blow up your fucking business. All the links are in my show notes, or you can send me a DM at your coach Jill and let's have a chat. I will see you guys in May. Hey babe, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Screenshot it and put it on your stories and tag me at your coach Jill. And if you really love me, you'll rate and review the podcast. And if you screenshot it before you submit the review and send it to me, I will send you a free gift on me. If you want to take this work deeper, come and work with me in the From Imposter to Empowered program or the Real Deal Mastermind. And finally, if you want just a snippet of my work to feel what it's like to be in my world, then you need to buy my best-selling book, You're Not Special, and you can get that on Amazon. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.